Welcome HDOTP early. That's a good sign. And Dylan, welcome as well. Welcome Arnold and Zach. Just back from the gym, so I'm still a bit breathing heavily, but that will be gone in a minute. I haven't looked at the charts in 2 hours or so I'm curious what, but not much has happened. It seems like Bitcoin took some buy side liquidity right here, and is now just still in the same range. Which is basically this same range, so not much has changed. So let's see. Welcome Astral, Wes, De Vries, Kijels, and Lise. Good to see many people. It's Friday, so almost weekend, but we will make it, or at least end the week with a good stream. It's weird because my YouTube shows that there are 3 people watching, but in the chat I already see like 8 people, so that's not really accurate. Let's see, do I have everything here? Yes. Okay, so let's just get started. Welcome Mel, and indeed Lise. All diehards in the chat. Love it a lot. So yesterday we took the during the stream the long. Where was it? Right here. Or where was it? Yeah, somewhere around here. With the stop there, and my target was like a new weekly high. It was just a valid setup, so I would take it again. It was not like a super high probability Wyckoff trade, but just a 3 drive, breaker structure, buy some liquidity. So it was a valid one, but market, yeah, sometimes it just goes against you. And then it cleared that low there, and now we have just a simple range in which I watch this as the main range. 1 at the high, low, 1 at the high, and this is step 2 potentially, and then this is just the main range with some demand below, which we can watch for potentially a model 2 or a model 1, in which we tap into this resting single print, at least on the Bybit, because on Binance we already took it, and we have that VWAP, that anchored VWAP right here. And if we go above, then I'm not really interested in shorting it right here, because basically above this high, we only have like buy side liquidity here. So I expect that if we come up and we take the high, that we likely also shoot through at least to this supply right here. And that's where I'm watching for short developments. So how we can watch it is that we have an internal range, this one right here, but we also have another way to look at it. Let's pick a fresh chart, because you can also see, let's clear that. If we zoom out, this can also be just the range from high to low. right here, where you then have range high, range low, and that this is just like the internal range, which is ultra choppy. But the range extremes right here is done this high and this low, which makes quite a lot of sense to me, because we have buy side liquidity here. That high is not, I don't see this as a good high. We don't have like super a lot of longs trapped or people getting over leveraged long here. So I don't think the market, at least I think there's fuel to move higher again. And then maybe that people then get super bullish and that we then get like the good distribution. For now, I think we still can make a new high. And lower down, we have some demand. So let's watch. You can already see these two sell candles and then the buy. So this is basically a range demand. And if you have a range with directly demand just below it or supply just above it, that's always a nice confluence, because then there's a reason for price to range, and then take that demand. And that can then be a good second tap. And then you can watch for your 1, 2, 3 models like that. And if we just watch local structure, or at least like swing structure, we still have high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. So according to this structure, we can still make a pullback and then go higher. And we know that Bitcoin loves the 0.78 fib levels. So if we pull the swing low to swing high, then from this low to that high is right here. But I always love to draw it from the level where it did not have a retrace. Because if technically you can pull it from this low to that high, but here you already had the retrace. However, from this low to this high, you did not really have a retrace. So how I draw it personally is from this low to that high, and then that overlaps with the demand for potentially the higher low for the higher high. And then we can watch, let's say price does this, for example, model 1, we don't know, and then pushes higher. Then we can watch, do we get like a confident break which will signal trend continuation, or do we take like SFP, and that can be the sign that we are gonna distribute here. And that is potentially the high for swing shorts back down to potentially even 60k. So that's basically the main view. You can watch, do we have some refined demand levels like here. So basically this whole box is range demand. So let's mark that out as range demand. And then locally I already see on the 2 hour this little block on top of the range demand. That's super nice. So we can mark that out. And then if we, like on the 1 hour, it's even smaller. And here on the lower, I see 45-minute. So how I mainly view it right now is that we had swing high, swing low, new high. So this is basically the internal breaker structure. And then this can just be mitigation continuation until proven otherwise. So I think like if you are more like in a higher time frame or just like a swing trader, then I will just put an alert at the range high right there and range low right there, and just enjoy your time in between, because it's likely that you get like this can chop just for like next week. It can easily chop. So that's the main view on BTC. Super interested in longs if we take out this low into all this demand. And then especially as always, if we have like create that liquidity trail and get like the good tap 2 tap 3, boom, something like that. Welcome Slatan, welcome Mehmet, welcome Abby, Marco, good to see you as well, and Sudo. A lot of people, good to see a lot of people, and a lot of people active in the chat. If you have any questions, always ask them. I see Marco, hi, when you have time, can you please show your settings on the CVD OI in the MMT app? Because I got a free plan and doesn't let me copy your template. I just want to see what exchange you're using. Yeah, sure. I will go over it. First, I go do a quick view on the pairs, and then I will share it with you. So this main view, and then, yeah, this is basically the same. This is the internal range. But as said, like tomorrow, like this is where ranges in ranges always are in play. And then you have to know that the higher time frame ranges, so this one is like much stronger and higher probability to take trades compared to this range. This is like an internal range. And like tomorrow, this morning, I took like along here, which was internal. So that's like, it gets lower probability each time. And that is also where I took the loss. So basically where I took the trade, and I already said like it's risky because the context wise it's low probability. But we had basically a 1, 2, 3. Okay, on Bybit it was a model. Am I crazy, or was it a 3 drive this morning? But I watched it at, what was it here? Yeah, here it was a 3. Huh? I'm sure this was this morning it was a 3 drive. Now it looks more like a 2. It's still a slight 3 drive, but in my opinion this morning it was like more obvious one. But nevertheless it was 1, 2, 3, so that shows us absorption. And then we broke structure from left to right, so we had low, lower high, low, low, break. Let me clear it. So this was basically the break internally, in which basically this whole zone is demand. So I took an entry right here at my stop there because I thought, okay, if we go higher, it's already probably going to there. So that's then like a 2R. And I wanted to, it was like my starter position, and I wanted to enter new longs if price came back to bullish. But eventually, like we had this low, lower high, and here it broke back to bullish. But this internal break was too aggressive, so I did not have time to enter. So I remained patient, and then I wanted to see this break back to bullish as a new confirmation. So if we did this, then I had added to my position. But instead price just nuked, took out this low, and from there started pushing. So I took a loss for 1R this morning, and then I entered a new position, playing basically this new range. So like I always play my ranges, but you see how many ranges you have, like internal, in an internal range within the bigger range, which is again just a range in a bigger one. So they are everywhere. And here it was basically a 2-tap model I played. It was low, then a high right there. And then this was the second tap. And it was a low probability trade. I gotta be honest with it. Because we only took the low. And in this leg, there was no structure. So normally you cannot enter there, because you want to have like this good pullback, then a low. And if you then flip your structure back to bullish, then you have like an entry confirmation. But now we did not have it. But the MMT gave a little bit of confidence, where I saw that we had little absorption right here. And normally this is not how you want to enter, because this is like liquidity, and you want to see like that be taken out for good third tap. But basically we had low, then internally I was watching this, and then it flipped back to bullish right here. And there I was, okay, I think this is just an extended accumulation where a lot of people got taken out right here, which you can see on the volume as well. And price failed to go lower. So there I took a trade right here when it's flipped back to bullish. Stop at the third tap. And then target was just this local range high. And it was hit for 2 point, I thought it was a little bit more. I had like a 3R. So maybe I use this as my stop, 2.5. So eventually still made profit. And after that, I did not really look at it anymore, but also not much has happened. We took liquidity here and then came back down. So for BTC, I don't see anything too interesting either to trade right now. So I'm just gonna observe only the extremes right here, which is this local high and then this demand. Let me put an alert here. But as said, this is like the internal range. The main one to watch is just this bigger range. So then better to wait for the extreme right there and extreme right there. Beside that, not interested in trading this. And I need to quickly look at the gold. Scheiße. Yeah, that's expensive to not be sharp. So we had a clean, I was watching gold for longs because we have this bigger range. Again, 1, 2, 3, model 1 distribution. Technical target of that is this range low. But as I said early in the week, we had this strong push down and then the push up. And that's where I said, okay, this can be the start of a new range, where this is our internal range. And then we had, let's zoom in a bit more. The 1, tap 2, tap 3. So potential model 1. And I always like the model 1 a lot, because then the moment you flip local structure back to bullish, then this is your low. That is like either this is your invalidation and the model 1 plays out, or the model 1 is just not valid. So this is then a super clean invalidation to use. And if we look to a 10-minute structure, yeah, so we came down from here, low, lower high, lower low, bullish break. So this is basically your confirmation that this is protected low. And then price came up, tapped into, like this is super clean. This is super, super clean. We can watch. Okay, price had some demand right here. But after this break, so you have basically low, lower high, lower low, and then bullish break, and then retest, and from here you start an uptrend. So from here you have low, high, higher, low, higher, high. Price came back for demand, this demand block, which is demand on the 50-minute. As you can see, right, did I delete something? So if you go to the 50-minute, you see this clean demand zone, and we already broke structure here. So then you can watch this internal uptrend, high, higher, low, higher, high. And then sometimes you have to flicker through your time frames to see, do I have clean demand on D5, D10, D15, D30? And here you see that on the 50-minute, you perfectly mitigated that demand. Clean retrace to put in the higher low, and then broke higher. So I was internally watching it right here, where we had this local downtrend. Low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And this was the perfect mitigation of this demand zone. And then probably also in alignment with the fib levels. Like perfect. Perfect retracement to put in the higher low, in the 7.2, 7.8. And then I had this marked out as my break of structure level, in which if we broke that, you could technically enter stop loss below this low, or if you want to be safe, this low, this is your Wyckoff low, and then target the range high, like this. But then this was so aggressive, and I was watching the Bitcoin trade that I missed it. So then we broke even more important structure from left to right, which was this one. And that was where I knew, okay, it's likely that this model 1 is in play. So I wanted to see a retrace in this demand or in this demand. This is still my higher probability trade, demand zone. So hopefully price still comes there. But locally you could have watched price, and then I did not even set an alert, it seems. Basically here at low, lower high, lower low, lower high, SFP, and then internal broke. So let's see. Technically, because you are trading with the trend and your objective is the range high, then you can, if market structure aligns and flips back to your main one, in which this case it's bullish, then you can be more aggressive and take entries like this. It's more dangerous, but often it gives you even a better RR. So this could have been a play, basically also because you have that SFP. But yeah, also the gym did not look at it anymore. So right now, there are two ways how you can play it. Technical target, we are basically in an 1, 2, 3, 4. So model 1 into model 2. So the range high is our target. So that's always nice, because then you know I want to look for longs till we take out that high, and then we can look for shorts again. We missed this long, so that's now gone. Now you can always watch, did price leave demand behind? So right now, we still have this demand, which we got front ran. So it is possible that if we do not, like if we take out almost all the buy side liquidity, then it's not interesting anymore. But right now, there's still a lot of liquidity above. So then it could be the price stalls around here. And then once we take that demand, and then continue higher. So this is level 1 to look at, which is the conservative one, in case price wants to go for it. But more locally, you can follow just the uptrend, which is basically from this low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So now this is your uptrend, basically. Then you can watch if the trend continues locally, and you should expect that your trend continues until it doesn't. Then you have low, high. Expectation order flow here is a higher low for a higher high. With our magnet, let's put on the magnet basically, is that high right? Why can't I change it? That's our target. So they can watch, do I have levels here to look for the higher low for the higher high? First of all, this is an internal break. So you can also see it that this is range demand, in which it is range, initiation, mitigation, continuation. Basically the same as the market structure continuation. Then on the 10-minute, I already see that we have demand. Right here. And on the 5, we have that lower one. Quickly gonna mark out this, and I take a look at the chat because I see some messages. So let me alert here and alert there and alert there. And then more locally, I would say this. So it's clean, super clean price action. And until proven otherwise, you can just watch for higher lows, for higher highs, targeting that range high. We have that lower demand, which can still be hit, but that would mean that you break your structure back to bearish, and that's not a good sign. So what you basically have is this on the 45, you have low, high, higher low, 2 candles down. And here we push higher, and here we have 2 candles down. So this is your uptrend. So you do not want, like you can wick it into demand, but you don't want to break this back to bearish. Otherwise it's not a good sign. Which means that you want to form your higher low anywhere in this region and then go higher. This one would have been pretty clean with SFP and then the internal break. Bullish boss. Since this is the range demand, we can also watch what is the point of control. We have to. And then this demand, which was the three-minute demand, this is a super high probability demand. So this is where I'm might look for scalp longs, because it's in the region to put in the higher low for the higher high. So it's local market structure continuation level. It is demand with a clean imbalance above it, so good demand zone. And it's from this range is the point of control and the value area high. So that's an interesting level. And you have a clean target right above. So hopefully it gives a retrace, then we can look for longs. But it can also squeeze higher, because it already took this high. And from here you have mostly buy side liquidity. Again, a 1, 2, 3, 4, model 1 in the model 2, model on gold on Friday. Last Friday we took the exact same, but then it was a long, which was this one. There we had basically the first. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, it was also a long. I'm talking bullshit right now. But basically the same model. 1, 2, 3, 4. Break. And this one never gave a retest. So maybe this one neither. But also 1, 2, 3, 4. And now clean uptrend. So gold loves to put in models on Friday, it seems. Okay, let's have a look at the chat. Please explain a bet and a good low high and a Bojan low high. Like a good high. Yeah, there's not really, I don't often talk about a good high, but there's a difference between how I talk about good highs and bad highs or lows and about Bojan highs. So if I talk about a bad low, that's often a candle that does not have a wick to the upside or downside. So on BTC, for example, this week is a bad low, because this weekly candle has barely a wick to the downside. So then it's a bad low. It can also be that on the daily, you don't have a wick to the upside or downside. Like here we had it on Sunday, for example. That candle has almost no wick to the downside, and then the next day it gets taken. So that's a bad daily low. It can also be put in the first minute of the day. Then it's often also called a bad day, a bad high, or a bad low. You also have like Bojan highs and Bojan lows, which is basically just a candle formation. So if we like have ranges, let's go a bit higher, right here, and then we always look for, or always we love to play the Wyckoff models, which is basically something like this, and then have like that tap 2, oh, step 2, and then we go for the model 1. Let's go right there. And this is basically our model with 1, tab 2, tab 3, and then target range high. This is how it looks on, let's say, the 10-minute. But if you go then to the 15, like the hourly or the 2-hour, 3-hour, then you will have candle formations that show the same, but then in a candle. So then this will look pretty bad probably. But then you will see like the 3-hour with, like, try to get it right. Yes. Then you will see it, for example, like this. And then this local model 1 on the high time frame then looks like this. 1, 2, 3. And this is a Bojan low, but it's basically just an accumulation. And then you have Bojan model 1, which is this one. You can also have a model 2, which is then basically 1, 2, 3. What you see here is basically a model 1 into a model 2, but then based on candle formations. So sometimes it helps to zoom out, and then you see that makes it more clear what to look for. If we go to the 12-hour, for example, do we have something? Like, this is not super good, but if you look at the 6-hour, for example, and it's all internal, so the location is not good. But here you see 1, 2, 3, 4. This could be a model 1 into model 2, like a bottom formation. And the context of it is not good. And here it doesn't look good at all. But sometimes when zooming out, it looks like this, and this shows absorption. So people are buying right here. Absorption, aka accumulation. So basically that. Fuck, dat was mijn entry on gold. Are you in, Arnoud, or not? I also took the loss in BT, was not on the PC for re-entry. Glad I saw the same though. Yeah, it was a valid trade. Just, yeah, not every trade works. Simple as that. And also, yeah, there are a few things. It was during London. London session is lower probability in general. But I will take it if it showed up again right now. I will take it again. Because we call it the most clean setups. Yeah, I did not really look the low time frame on gold, but quickly looking, yeah. Like, I love these models. Little cleaner. Do you ever take like a 15-minute rimsy here on gold? Yeah, basically, like now I have it refined, but basically this whole zone is a whimsy. So in essence, it doesn't change a lot if you refine it or take the whole zone, because you still need your structure confirmation in it. So you still need to see price come into it and then flip back to bullish. And then, like, this is your bullish reconfirmation. And then that is your entry. Then this would like look like the setup. So you can refine it to the levels for extra confluence. But in the end, it's basically the same. But right now, because I refined it, and this is also the point of control and the value area high, then preferably you want to see the reaction from this level. Then you know that there's a lot of buying pressure. That's good. If it falls below this demand, then it's already getting a little more tricky. Because that will mean that you break this internal uptrend back to bearish right here. That you have demand failure from this level. So that's also not a sign what you want to see. And you also lose the value area high and the point of control. So if it is bullish, then I want to see this reaction from the top of the range, which aligns with this demand zone. So yeah, doesn't change a lot. You still need your market structure confirmation, always. Because price can otherwise also just come back here, lower high, and then come lower. And then you're basically, this could also be like bearish PO3, like range, manipulation, potentially. It is already too high above it for a deviation, but it could still happen. So you also always want to have that internal confirmation right here. And then you can long it again. Great, so Matt took the long. It's good to see. I should have also taken it. I'm happy that the BTC long worked out. But yeah, it was super clean. First one, this one. Where basically you could have already ended here and this was your protected low. So then this was the trade. And after price came back for the mitigation, and then like this is clean. That you come back for the mitigation, and while doing that, having market structure, low, lower high, and then SFP your market structure low, and then give a break. Like this is textbook, what you want to see. Literally textbook. I took a scalp short in BTC because gold wasn't doing a lot, so I did not pay attention to. Too late now. Ah, okay. Yeah, new opportunities will come. Always. I did a self-audit of my system so far, 65 trades. My top performer is 3 drives setup and model 2 recognition, but the combo has the high win rate absorption. And model 2 distribution, my worst. Yeah, those are very valuable observations. And I think mine is the same. I like the 3 drive in a clean PY. That one, and especially on the low time frame, that one is my favorite. So let's say that this is clean demand, for example, and let's say it's a super high probability PY, and then get that like that. I have to draw it clean. 1, 2, 3, and then get like that 3 drive pass. Those are my favorite. But context is always very important and a lot of things. But yeah, the 3 drive in a clean POI, super clean. And then especially like now on gold, I would love it even more because the target is basically the range high. So when you are in a confirmed model, which we have right here, so model 1 into model 2, and then you get like a 3 drive in your direction, so a bullish 3 drive, then you can just trade it, take longs all the way up till you hit your target. So they are super clean indeed. And absorption, it's basically the absorption. And lately, I don't know, the lower time frame I go, the cleaner it is. Okay, so For BTC, yeah, I see this as pure chop. So I'm just waiting for the extremes. For gold, I have to see. I don't like to trade trades this late in the session for gold going into the weekend, basically. But yeah, maybe if it goes here, I want to long. But Friday, yeah, often after the stream, I just call the weekend. So I have to see. I want to quickly take a look at oil because we are going into the weekend. It's back into demand. Yeah, so it broke. Like I've called it a break of structure, but technically it's not a valid one yet. Because if we look at the highest time frame that this downtrend is valid on, then it's 12 hour. Because on the 12 hour we have two candles going higher, lower, and on the 18 hour you don't have it. So 12 hour is the highest time frame. And then if we apply the rules very strictly, and this is our market structure high, this is our break of structure, but this is a wick, so that's technically not a valid boss. Then we have to staircase it to the next one, which was again not a valid boss. So that means that technically this is our break of structure level. Market structure level. So 12 hour has technically not broken back bullish yet. But yeah, so it did on like the other time frames, but still sketchy also on the 4 hour. Like a lot of weight on the 4 hour, it's also, if we staircase it, not break. So then it comes to the same, in which this is basically our high. And then the move up from the lows is also not, it's a bit sketchy. Like it's currently in this demand, but if this demand fails, then I can see it rotate very quickly back down again. So yeah, not super clean read on we're going into the weekend, and I don't even know what the case is right now with I believe they have a new ceasefire, but they are also shooting at each other. I have no idea what they are doing. I also don't really care anymore. And nobody cares, it seems. ETH at a pretty important level, because this could be the lower high for the Model 1 into Model 2 distribution. But we are also in this demand, just chilling. So levels I'm watching is if we take sell-side liquidity here, what do we do here? And here. So basically just key levels, supply above for lower high. Then this is likely the already lower high. If you go above, then the bearish case is just invalidated. And if we go down, this area where I look for long triggers, if we do not react from here or give it like a super deep pullback, then a lower high for lower low is likely, and then this is just the bearish case. But yeah, BTC is much cleaner in my opinion compared to ETH. Hype has basically done nothing after yesterday. It took out that buy-side liquidity with that local Model 1. Took out that buy-side liquidity and then yeah, it's just chopping. And Tao, it gave that push into supply, came back down in the range. Could be potentially a 1, 2, 3 in the making. And then could potentially give short Model 2 because there's a lot of liquidity. You have this low, higher 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 low. So you have a lot of sell-side liquidity created. So to me, this does not look like a good bottom until you take out that liquidity. So therefore, interested in potentially if you get a move here and then a re-break of structure back to bearish, then you can look for shorts back down here. But we're going into the weekend, so I'm not gonna strictly look at it. And yeah, that's basically the watch list. So this week, like last 2 weeks, were very, very, very good training weeks. This week was a bit different. It was not a bit of a, yeah. I took some London scalps mostly. I think I'm up 2R or so, 3R this week. So it's not nothing spectacular. And be mostly patient, but not a lot has happened. But yeah, that's just also the reality of trading. You have winning weeks, losing weeks, and just small weeks. And watching at this price action, there's not anything I regret or think like, oh, I should have done this or that. So overall, with this sudden move from the lows, there was no model, nothing for me to take the trade, and it happened also overnight, so I was asleep. Then we aggressively expanded, and from there we like this could have been a short, would have been a nice one. But from there, yeah, this is just choppy price action, nothing really clean. So sometimes just not losing in a week is also winning. To spare your bullets, and then if you get like new models next week or so, you can take a trade and then you're back in the game. So that's just the reality of trading. And then I want to, before I forget it, share the MMT stuff for Marco. So I believe on the free one, you can only use two indicators, right? So on the downside, 2 of these. So I think you chose for the spot and perp CVDs. I have them now aggregated. So that means that it's just all the, like for futures, all the future platforms, and for spot, all the spot platforms. At first I had it only the main exchanges, so Binance, Bybit, and Coinbase for spot. And for futures I had Binance, Bybit, and Hyperliquid. But yeah, I checked it a bit and it doesn't make a lot of difference. So I used just the aggregated. So all the exchanges for the perps and all the exchanges on spot. And overall, also the TPO, it looks pretty healthy. I think we can have a good chance to take out that weekly high. And then that can be the second tab. That's where shorts do get very interested. Like here, we had a nice move higher. This stalled out a bit, but nothing too shabby. And also here, spot bought. Did not heavy sell off or anything. Neither did perps. So it's just looking pretty healthy. So I think we will make a way to the highs again. I need to have a setup to take along there. Currently, I don't see it. Your DDT connect. Yeah, maybe because you have the free version. And there you can only copy like 2 indicators. So I think that's the problem most have. Because I have a lot of stuff, and with the free version you can only have a few. And what about the delta volume? Delta I also have aggregated. Can have a watch at the low time frame. Is there? Look, we have some spot buying. We're buying open interest going down a bit, so likely longs getting out on this little move down. Perps buying and spot buying. So it's looking pretty good, but this is where a lot of go wrong, because then they see, oh, spot is buying, let me go long. But you still need your setup or like your trigger. And just watching this, not a clean setup for me. We have some demand here, but I believe we have also a London low. Let's see. Yeah, so our daily low is a London low. So that's also not what, like yesterday we had it as well, and then eventually took it out. So to me, this is just a range. We are at the mid-range, not a clean model. It's very simple, no trade. Then it can go from here to the highs as expected, but no trade is no trigger, no trade, no setup, no trade. So then it's just waiting patiently, because we don't have to catch every move. The only thing we do or should focus on is executing the setups and not chasing the market. You don't need to catch every move up or down, or you only want to focus on your models. If they present, execute. If they do not present, just be patient, because eventually they will always come, always. You can also watch locally, very locally, this as range on gold. Community templates works on the free version, but I cannot see the bottom indicators. Yeah, I think they count these. I don't know how they actually do it, but if you only have like 2, I will personally, yeah, I like the volume bubbles a lot, just to see where are people getting aggressive, so at the highs or at the lows. Then the TPOs, yeah, I will not use the TPO if you don't have a lot of experience with it. You can only, yeah, it's not really actionable if you don't know exactly what you're doing. The VWAPs are also not needed. Intraday levels also not really. So maybe like the volume bubbles and then maybe the CVDs. That can be pretty helpful. Or open interest, also pretty helpful. Yeah, you can also use Coin Analyze. There are a lot of different platforms where you can see similar stuff. So I think that's it for me this week. I won't be streaming Monday as shared, because it's King's Day in Netherlands. So it's always it's a national holiday, so everyone is on the street and having a good time. So in the morning I will record a video update with my views and stuff, also the usual updates. But yeah, during the normal streaming time I won't be there. Also not be able to share updates, because I will probably be drunk, so that it's not wise to give advice. But Tuesday I'm back with the normal schedule, and then hopefully next week I'm just gonna do the same. It fully depends on what the market gives, and then I'm ready for another great week with all of you. So thanks again everyone for this week, the good vibes, the packed streams and everything. So next week we're just gonna continue with the same again, and then with a bright future ahead. So thanks everyone, and no, Gijos, no, don't drink and trade. I've learned the lesson a long time ago, so I won't. I won't. Dude is always drinking. No, that's not true. Might seem like it, but it's only in the weekends. Only in the weekend. Work hard, party a little. Thanks everyone, and see you guys in the stream. In the Discord.